Hi, I'm Shelley Wilson. I'm a multi-genre author of over 20 books and a writing mentor. Welcome to the Campervan Writer Show. Are you a plotter or a pantser? You might think, oh my God, Shelley, you've gone insane. What are you talking about? Stick with me here. So I was always a pantser, and that basically meant that I used to write flying by the seat of my pants. And then about 11 years ago, I learned how to do the plotting elements of a novel. I worked out on how to do character development, how to do story arcs, working on your themes, and I became a plotter. Now, that was 11 years ago, so I have plotted out all of my books. The more I do, the more confident and comfortable I feel, becoming a little bit of a hybrid. So I plot a lot. I always have my character development done. I always know the basic theme and story arc, but then the rest I kind of leave up to just going with the flow and seeing what happens. It can be really helpful to work out whether you are a plotter or a pantser, and just so that you can work to your own strengths. So let's break it down a little bit. Great quote for you. Clarity doesn't come before action. It comes from action. So this is why understanding whether you are going to plot or you're just going to fly by the seat of your pants can be really helpful. So I've got 3 top tips for any plotters out there. First tip is to think about using a 3-act structure or story beats. Something like Save the Cat Writes a Novel, fantastic resource, highly recommend it. And that will show you how to break down your story idea into bite-sized chunks that you can follow along. The second tip is to do character bios, so you know your characters probably better than you know your family. That can be really helpful. I always create a Pinterest board when I'm doing a new novel, and I'll cast my characters. So it just might be a model or somebody that I've seen on a Pinterest that I think, oh, actually that's exactly who it is in my head. I'm going to pin them to my board. Or it might be an actor or an actress who I think, yeah, actually, if ever Netflix called and said we're turning your book into a movie, then that's who I would love for them to cast. And in my romance novel, which is Floating Solo, my first romance novel, in my head I had Chris Evans, who's Captain America, as the hero. And when I did some author events on a narrowboat, because the whole book's set on a narrowboat, I bought myself a cardboard cutout of Chris Evans and took him along. And there was a lot of hilarity. I'm surprised he survived the day, to be honest, because a lot of the ladies wanted to kidnap him and take him home. But from a talking point of view, from a social media point of view, it was really good to share my inspiration, if you like. So character bios can be really helpful to help you get clear in your own head who it is that you're writing about. And then the third tip is your chapter outlines. So if you're a plotter, you'll kind of want to know what you're going to be writing about, and that can be as in-depth as you want it to be. It can be a full-on synopsis, if you like, of this is what I want to include, this is who they're going to meet, this is what's going to happen, these are the challenges and the conflicts, this is how I'm going to resolve everything. Or it can be a list, like a bullet points. I've started now mine are more bullet point lists because I kind of know which way I want the story to go, so I only need a quick pointer and I can go, right, okay, I can pick that up and work with it. But that's still, in my mind, that's still plotter tendencies. My 3 top tips for pantsers are, first one is start with a really strong what if. It's a great place to begin. Think about yourself as a little kid. You know when they always ask why? We're going to do this, but why? We're going to do that, but why? Think about it in that respect. Always think about the what if. What if the character did this? What if the character felt that? What if this happened? What if I put this obstacle in the way? That will help you to uncover all of the story arc and your character plots and all sorts of things. So it's a great starting point. Second tip for pantsers is to take pauses. So it might be that you're off and running and you're writing away, then take 10 minutes. Just take 10 minutes to think about what's going to come next. Maybe jot a few ideas down so that you've always got something to strive for. Your next steps are kind of laid out in front of you, and you don't end up falling for that whole blank page syndrome where you freeze and you don't know what to write. So that's my second tip. My third tip is to keep a discovery log. So this might be any traits that you've given your characters, any little breadcrumbs that you've dropped in at certain points. If you've got them logged, then you can pick them back up, you can refer to them, you can add them into backstory or into other bits and pieces throughout the book, but you don't lose track of all those breadcrumbs. Here's a great quote for you. Plotters build the map and pantsers take the road trip, but they're both going to arrive at the same destination. So it doesn't matter if you absolutely plot your entire book arc out and your character descriptions and everything to reams and reams, it doesn't matter. And equally, it doesn't matter if you've just got a post-it note with a few ideas on. If that works for you and gets you going, then that's all you need. It's really easy to fall into the trap of, I'm not doing it right, I'm not doing it like they are doing it. You work to your own beat. You do what works for you and what feels right for you. As I said, I started off as a pantser. I developed into a plotter, which really helped with my own productivity. But now, after 10, 11 years of writing, I've started to loosen up a little bit, and I'm more of a hybrid, where I still know that I need to plot. I need to know that I've got my arc. I need to know how it's going to end. Sometimes I'm not sure about the middle. But that's the bit where you can fall over your own feet sometimes, in that messy middle. But if you've got a plan, or at least a discovery log, or some sort of a method of, right, what comes next, what's the next step, even if it is just the next step, you can avoid that messy middle and make sure that your writing is going in the right direction. So I'd love for you to tell me where you think you fit. Are you a plotter or are you a pantser? Drop that into the comments for me, and let me know what you feel about being in either camp. Or are you like me, a little bit of a hybrid, and you understand the values of plotting, but you've got pantser tendencies? We tend to fall into one or the other, but there is a lot of crossover. And like I say, there's no right or wrong way of writing a book, not at all. You've got your way, and that's all that matters. So let me know in the comments. In the meantime, I would love for you to subscribe so you don't miss any of my future episodes. Happy writing, and I'll see you next time.